line of scrimmage. And it's such an advantage. Think about it. For a play caller, it kind of allows you to never be wrong. When you can put a bunch on the quarterback, do a good job pre-snap to get you into the look that you want to get into. And so, that's not surprising to me, though. I think that, if you look at Dak Prescott prior to the injury, he was doing a lot of those same things. So, the ankle injury wasn't going to change that. I think the bigger thing with Dak's play, in that offense's play, is just look at this last week and his willingness to carry the football and look good doing it. To me, that was the one thing that you weren't sure was going to come back. Dak's command and wisdom at the line of scrimmage wasn't going to disappear.
And Dominique, how about you?
No, yeah, I think that is the reason. I like what Jerry said about Ezekiel putting in the work of the offseason, but let's be honest, the running attack is successful because Dak is making those decisions at the line of scrimmage. The Cowboys lead the league in rushing yards against a light box. So when he sees a light box, he's converting them to a running play, and Zeke and that offensive line are getting an advantage. So I really like what they're doing. Obviously, we all know how much I love Cousin Dak, the way that he's throwing the ball, but the way that he's thinking through the game. I think we get a lot of credit to Kellen Moore, which he deserves it, but you see that play right there? That's him changing the play. And as far as the defense is concerned, we talked about Dan Quinn getting them to run to the ball and play aggressively. A lot of times when you do that, the mistakes, they don't become a problem. That Stephon Diggs interception, the Trayvon Diggs interception that we saw, he was supposed to be in deep half, cover 2. He made a mistake, but for some reason, I don't know the science behind it, but the football gods love when you play hard, and they'll throw the ball at you when you do so.
One very small thing, and Shefty mentioned it here, the Cowboys overnight, in what could be described, I think, by many as a very surprising move, releasing linebacker Jalen Smith out of the second-round pick out of Notre Dame, who sort of had emerged, I think, as a star after coming back from the bad injury. They're paying him $7.2 million basically to go away. What'd you make of that?
I think that we all accepted when they drafted Micah Parsons that Jalen Smith wasn't going to be a part of the long-term plan, but we thought he was going to be a part of the short-term, because when Lawrence got hurt, Micah moves up to D-line for part of that, and then Jalen comes in. I'm watching him play. He's running around looking as good as he has ever looked. So it's just a shot. It suggests to me that there's something more that we don't quite know yet.
That's what it sounds like. You don't pay a guy to go away who is contributing in any way unless there's something more that meets the eye. Booger, what is your reaction to that?
So to me, Greeny, there are two things at play. One, you got to attribute the play of Micah Parsons and how good he has been as far as being a multiple chess piece to move around the board. And Dominique is right. When you release a player, regardless of the money that's playing well, there's usually something more. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming days something comes out maybe about Jalen Smith's attitude, something going on, because now Micah Parsons playing well allows you to rid the locker room of a guy whose attitude may not be playing into the team concept. So I would expect something like that to come out. Aside from that, Greeny, why else would you let a guy like that go, especially with the injury history of Leighton Vander Esch? Other than that, it really doesn't make much sense at all.
I completely agree. If you sit back and think about it, they've basically treated him like his value was zero, which it clearly isn't. So they obviously came to the conclusion, for some reason, that I can bring you right now a stunner. The Patriots are releasing four-time Pro Bowl cornerback Stephon Gilmore, who was eligible to come off the physically unable to perform list after week 6. Sources tell ESPN. Do I have Shefty? Yes, I do. I'm told I have Adam Schefter on the phone. Shefty, thank you very much. The floor is yours. What can you tell us?
Well, Gritty, listen, there are financial implications here and there are injury considerations here. And Stephon Gilmore was in a situation where he was due a lot of money this year, and the Patriots are about $54,000 under the salary cap. They want to sign Jamie Collins today. They want to be able to make moves. They're financially hamstrung. They're waiting for a cornerback in Stephon Gilmore to be healthy. One of the best players in all of football, the former Defensive Player of the Year just a couple of seasons ago. They tried to work out a restructured contract, but could not do it. Could not figure out a way to get a reworked contract done. And Stephon Gilmore obviously knew that there'd be money coming, knew that the market would be strong, and essentially did not agree to what the Patriots were proposing to try to get them more cap relief. And so the Patriots are making the move now. They are releasing Stephon Gilmore. And so this is unusual now, where 2 days in a row, we get a very surprising move. One in Dallas, with the Cowboys releasing Jalen Smith, the former second-round draft pick, the Pro Bowl linebacker. Now, the New England Patriots going ahead and releasing the former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, who's been to 4 Pro Bowls.
It is a stunner. You're right. We'll talk about Jalen Smith a little later. But I want to ask you this, because when I mentioned this to Dominique, he asked it to me. What, if anything, Shefty, do we know about how healthy Gilmore is? We mentioned he's eligible to come off the unable to perform list in a couple of weeks. What, if anything, do we know about how ready he'll be to play?
I think he's going to be ready to play in the second half of the season. I don't think it's going to be right now, but I don't think it's terribly far away, Greeny. I think, weeks 8, 9, right in that range. So he could definitely be a contributor for a team in the second half of the year, without question. And so anybody that's out there will know that. And look, he's going to be able to step in and help a contender. Just think of the contending teams that are in Super Bowl contention, and I would think that they're all going to be interested in Stephon Gilmore at this point in time. There's going to be plenty of interest in him. He'll sign with a new team, and he'll try to make another team, whether, I don't know who that would be. Look, everybody's going to bring up Tampa and Tom Brady right away, right? But the problem is that the Buccaneers don't have a lot of cap room right now. They've done a lot of cap gymnastics to get under the cap and to be where they are. Now, could they do more? I guess they could always try, and I guess that would make sense. But the Buccaneers are financially challenged right now to make something like this happen, though. Again, they've done an unbelievable job getting where they are, and they're always looking to give Tom Brady more help and more former teammates.
Adam Schefter with the breaking news. Outstanding work as always, Shefty, the best in the business. Thank you very much. Let me bring it in here to the group. And let me start with Booger McFarland and Tim Hasselbeck got up with us this morning. Gentlemen, thank you. Dominique, I will start with you. That's your position. I'll remind everyone, as far as Tampa is concerned, the money is the money. They just brought in Richard Sherman off the street and started him like 4 days later. So clearly that is a position of enormous need. But let's start, for anyone who doesn't understand it, explain just how good a player we are talking about here.
If you go back to fully healthy Stephon Gilmore, he's best cornerback in the league. You heard Adam say it. He was defensive player of the year. He's only 31, so he's not like over the hill. If he comes back from this injury, which he wasn't great last year, if he comes back 80% of his best self, he can change the complexion of a defense. We're talking about teams like Kansas City. They would die for a corner like this. You're talking about Green Bay. You put him opposite Jair Alexander, and they've struggled with filling that corner spot. They have a young guy named Stokes who's playing pretty well right now, but he ain't Stephon Gilmore. The way that this guy plays at the top of his game, I'm shocked to hear he's moving on from New England. But if I'm any of these contending teams, the Cowboys included, their defense is better, but no defense is not made better by adding a true shutdown corner. You can put him in man coverage on a number 1 receiver and feel comfortable. You can put him in man coverage on a number 2 receiver and sleep fine. You don't have to worry about that. That player is completely out of the game. You can double elsewhere. The flexibility that a player like this gives you is enormous. I really believe that it could take a defense that's bad to middle of the pack, take a middle of the pack defense to the top of the league.
Let me bring in another of my defensive stars here. Booger McFarland, what do you think?
To echo everything that Dominique said, he's outstanding, Greeny. So now, spinning this forward, how do we figure out where he's going to go? You look at the contending teams, Kansas City, Green Bay, Tampa, all need cornerbacks. Well, what's going to be the differentiating factor? To me, that's going to be Tom Brady. Stephon Gilmore and Tom Brady have played together. Tom Brady is in win now mode. And I understand what Shefty's saying about the salary cap, but guys, we all know the salary cap is about as flexible as Play-Doh. You can massage it and move it however you want to. And Tampa Bay is in win now mode. Not that Green Bay and Kansas City are not, but Tampa is in win now mode. And if Tom Brady says, I want Stephon Gilmore, then Jason Licht, the GM, is going to go get him. Just like when Tom Brady said, I want Rob Gronkowski, I want Antonio Brown, I want Leonard Fournette, we want Giovanni Bernard. I would be shocked, Greeny, that if Stephon Gilmore at some point in the very near future is not a Tampa Bay Buccaneer because of the Brady effect. Not that Kansas City and Green Bay aren't good choices, but Tom Brady is like LeBron. He's like KD. He pushes people over the top when it comes to making a decision when you want to win a title.
All right, I'm putting you on Stephon Gilmore watch. You live in Tampa down there. I want you scouring the airports. I want you to keep a close eye on this. And if he winds up showing up in town, you're going to break the story. Tim Hasselbeck, what do you think?
Well, I think what's interesting is, according to Adam, there was an opportunity to maybe,